Hello, welcome. This is contemporary visionary Monika Sleszyńska. I'm connecting from Aswan, Nubia, in Egypt. And I wanted to highlight the recent streams of visionary awareness about wealth consciousness in the world. Because what we are seeing, many approaches, systems, attitudes are being disposed. This is the global community awakening, conscious awakening. And with this, we see how the wealth is being redistributed. So the older civilization was in the format where there were very big agglomerations and conglomerates of corporations with selected elites on the top, and then many people with medium or lower size of influence of salary, most of all. And then the creation was for having manufactured, produced, systematized production which would be distributed to many. And then many in the collective would pay money, would spend money on the goods which were going back to those big corporative banks. And this is exactly what's breaking, because on the first level we are awakening that many of those goods are unhealthy for us, and that they don't serve our awakening, that they were the blockers and polluters of our environment, of our consciousness, be it plastic bottles or the different cleansing substances and cosmetics and etc. and so on. And we simply are collectively, there's an undergoing awakening that we long for nature, we long for natural. And with this, the newer system of the newer approaches where there are more smaller companies, and it's about the smaller companies stabilizing economy. So this is how the wealth is being distributed and into the hands of common citizens who are simply expressing the love, their talents, their creativity, the handwork, handcrafts, and smaller production, nature production, also farming and consumption. We awakening into favoring consumption of the home-made and home produce, so local produce and country, national produce. So we awakening to favor that, which on the deeper level is good for us, it's good for our evolution, it's good for our subconscious. So the mass production and the quick riches from anything are dissolving, because now the next big point is that the quick big riches are still important part of our economy. However, those are the riches which serve us, which serve our evolution, which add to our health. And if we just look how the big budgets can be maneuvered and transferred into our health, into our well-being, into positivity, then that's really where our mind shifts. And this is up to each and every individual to value the power of positivity over the choice of complaining. It is to value the choice of eco-friendlies and environment-honoring goods opposed to the goods which are polluting the environment. So this is where the new systematization can still work on the condition that the goods are good for us. Though also what is changing is people working for little salary in the big be it farmings or corporations, manufacturers. They are also awakening that they can make goods, that they have a talent, they have skills, and they want to use those skills, and they want to be more creative. So in a way, we are fed up with things which are monotonous. So the monotonous lifestyle is the fashion for that is being lost, and people awaken to that. Instead, they want to have more inner fulfillment, more satisfaction. And some people will say that it's like a collective slavery of many people working for little salary, for the very few on the top getting the cream. And well, in a way, it's just a choice of civilization that people concluded that they agreed to go through such an experience and awaken out of this because it serves certain ways. However, what also we surely collectively letting go, the big transforming has been in eliminating the exhaustion, so the lifestyle in which one can work for very long hours in order to make very little. However, another angle of this is that we go back to acknowledging our natural resource, where we are happy with the little for being healed. So the artificially manufactured unhappiness points and issues, like if you don't have this and if you don't have this, then you will be unhappy. We're also letting go because we have ourselves, and we awaken that we have a lot inside. We have so much. We have beautiful air around us. We have beautiful planet. So we have amazing art creation. So also the impulse for appreciating, for being with the in places of beauty, art, sculpture, paintings, galleries, artistic environments, it's also awakening us on a deeper level and to more, because this is the age of Aquarius, which is the age of heart and creativity. So that's why many professions which don't serve that heart environment, heart awakening, will be disposed. And those, on one side we talk about profession, on another we talk environments and the approach to the environments, because it's about bringing the aspect of functionality with joy. So even the simple practical things can be performed with joy, and this is also what we are awakening. So it's more about the inner values, inner attitudes towards what's around than the possessions of items. So this is how we shift from the more evolved educating and educated consciousness from the materialistic. So that was, we can see a very humorous conscious experience on many levels, and now there's a deep yearning of the souls to reconnect with the riches of the beauty, soul, art, creation, philosophy, music, and that inner recognition. So the next shift is in the recognition, where we have already moved into recognizing ourselves and our inner values rather than the external. So that's why many people will decide to leave the big companies and start on their own, because now they know they have a choice, because many others around the world have shown that they have a choice, and it's just a natural redistribution of the wealth and knowledge, consciousness creation. So if you imagine there's a level on which this all has been known and directed by the source consciousness, by God, God consciousness, then you understand that there's how to manage it. And if you look at this with the eyes of the big all-knowing manager, then how would you manage this with principles of value, respect, love? So how would you guide into awakening, into making better choices, into becoming more abundant, while being really solid with phenomenal human values, honoring one another? So this is an extraordinary shift on multi-levels of our existence, where we take responsibility for, first and foremost, how we treat one another, and that we treat each other well. So this is why the places of work, the environments which would be highly distressive and or causing anxiety, people will also decide to let go. And on one side, this is when people decide to let go and people become transformed. So they stop being prone to such triggers. And so when they decide that they want something else. And this is the big aspect of this tool. major ways, because when the environment awakens, it can carry on with more conscious, more awakened way. And this is up to each and every individual. This is something which is extremely difficult to predict, and it would be impractical to predict, although some would say very, very super practical, because it's about the inner enrichment. And this is the rise of every human being coming to the inner enrichment and wanting to be in environments which enrich us, which honor a variety of our needs. This is where the companies with multiple different perks and art, culture, charity activities will continue and thrive, because there's a layer of human needs which have been locked in the drawer, and now this drawer is open and people are aware of what's been in that drawer. And big aspect of this is, of course, immunity, because in most simple terms, the environments in which we feel good are environments supporting our immunity, and the environments which exhaust the physical, mental, emotional levels are, of course, against the immunity. So wellness is there's a opportunity for big success of wellness to be well embedded into the existing cooperative structure, and that's where the corporation can thrive, where they make sure that they fulfill the certain dynamics of necessity of the current shifts and transformation, where they understand that it's about contributing to eliminate the pollution on the planet and create environments, activities, sources of energy which are friendly for the planet, which are friendly for our lungs. And with this, of course, come different strange of activities possible to instill, such as planting trees, for example, because it's currently possibly best karma on the planet. And while the corporations take so much interest in how to move forward, how to excel, this could be the very, very key to shift this and support the acceleration of awakening, because we are moving to global awareness on much wider scale. So far, many already have been awakened to this global awareness, and now more are stepping into it, where they recognize that there's a necessity for being involved in doing good for the planet. And planting trees is just such an adorable activity. And if this one element was to be instilled in on the country level as a responsibility of the country, that could possibly bring a super extraordinary, on one side, contribution, on another acceleration of moving forward. So there are certain steps which the corporation, when they want to achieve and excel, that they must fulfill. And this is why some companies, be it small to bigger size, will find themselves struggling with moving forward, because it's about, in a way, going back to that basic of nature to contribute, to complement the business. So this is the huge step for humanity to complement with something into the planetary system, the goodness, such as planting the trees. This is a brilliant, absolutely brilliant solution. And this is just a phase where we understand that we take responsibility. We resign from waiting for anyone else making those announcements, especially in the traditional management system of the countries, and we move into stepping into collaborating decisions. So that's another aspect, that the companies, small and medium-sized companies, are stepping into much collaboration, much more association type clusters and etc., to also hold the spirit of community. And that's what I see very precious. That's where the value of recognition can grow in the common community type structure, for those, and that's where the greater can be shared. So this is the shift of the in the human entrepreneurship. It's moving from being dependent on the choice of the directions and success of big company into deciding to take charge and shift into their own direction, where they will find many people to ally with. So that's on one side, and on another, there are still companies, corporations, which can surely embrace the new positive ways to influence, and should this also become very influential. So this is the main capture of how wealth and creation of wealth is being distributed. And of course there are many more, several points, and I'll be sharing it in newer audio recordings. Thank you very much for your attention. Welcome to like, share and follow. This is Monika Slaszinska. All the best.